Welcome to the British Accent Podcast, where we don't just talk about English, we talk about how it transforms lives. I'm Emma.
And I'm Liam. Today's episode is called Learning English as a Form of Self-Improvement, Becoming a Better Version of You. Because let's be honest, this journey is about way more than vocabulary and grammar rules.
Absolutely. When someone decides to learn English, they're not just adding a new skill, they are stepping into a process that challenges their mindset, expands their identity, and builds personal strength. English becomes a tool for growth, not just academically, but emotionally and mentally too.
Yeah, think about it. The moment you commit to learning English, you've already taken a bold first step. You're saying, I'm willing to try something uncomfortable. I want to connect more. I want to improve. That mindset alone is a powerful form of self-development.
And let's talk about what it teaches you. Discipline, for one. Learning a language requires consistency. You can't just study once a month and expect progress. You've got to show up, even when it's boring, even when you're tired. That kind of routine builds inner discipline.
Totally. And also, humility. You have to be okay with making mistakes in front of others, sometimes every single day. It's humbling, but it teaches you to embrace imperfection, and that's something a lot of people never learn. You stop being afraid to try, even when you might fail.
And the funny thing is, the more mistakes you make, the stronger you become. You realize that failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of it. That mindset shift. That's personal growth in its purest form.
Exactly. And along the way, you develop patience, not just with the language, but with yourself. You begin to understand that real progress takes time, and suddenly you're no longer chasing quick wins. You're in it for the long game. That shift makes you more grounded in every part of your life.
And let's not forget confidence. It's one of those things that quietly builds behind the scenes. At first, you're nervous just to say hello. Then one day, you're having a full conversation and barely thinking about it. That growth doesn't just stay in the classroom, it spills into how you carry yourself at work, with friends, even in new situations.
Yeah, it's wild how it transforms your identity. You start seeing yourself not just as someone who is learning English, but as someone who's capable, courageous, and curious. And that new self-image, it's powerful. It shapes how you walk into rooms, how you take on challenges, how you show up in life.
It also helps you break mental limits. Like, how many people start by saying, I'll never be fluent, or I'm too old, or I'm just bad at languages. And then they surprise themselves. Bit by bit, their progress proves those doubts wrong.
That's where self-belief begins. When you realize that what you thought was impossible is actually within reach if you're consistent, patient, and open to learning. Suddenly, you're not just getting better at English, you're getting better at believing in your potential.
And that changes everything. Because now, you're not just learning words. You're learning to show up, take space, ask questions, speak up. And those are things that will serve you in every area of your life.
Exactly. Because when you challenge yourself to grow in one area, like language, it ripples into others. You start thinking, well, if I can learn English, maybe I can start that course I've been scared of. Maybe I can finally apply for that job. Maybe I can move abroad. It opens doors inside your mind.
And it's not just the big goals, it's the small wins too. Like having the courage to join a group chat in English, or asking a question in class, or understanding a joke in a movie. Those moments may seem tiny, but they build up a stronger version of you over time.
And I love that, because it makes the journey feel more personal. It's not about being the best in the room, it's about being better than yesterday's you. Every sentence you build, every new word you remember, is one step forward. And those steps matter.
Yes, and the cool thing is, it's not just about what you learn. It's who you become while learning. More resilient, more open-minded, more determined. Learning English becomes this mirror that reflects your progress as a human being.
And the best part? That growth doesn't stop. Even when you reach a high level of fluency, there's always another layer. Another challenge. Another opportunity to refine not just your language, but your focus, your confidence, your voice.
So really, when people say, "I'm learning English," what they're really doing is building a new version of themselves, piece by piece, day by day. And that's what makes this journey so powerful.
Yeah, it's like a form of personal evolution. You start one way, maybe quiet, unsure, hesitant, and through the process of learning, you stretch. You expand. You start stepping into conversations you used to avoid. You raise your hand. You speak your mind. That's transformation.
And I think what surprises a lot of learners is how much emotional strength they build along the way. Because language learning isn't just intellectual, it's emotional too. There are moments of frustration, doubt, even embarrassment. But pushing through those moments, that's where real self-improvement happens.
Absolutely. And it teaches you to stop comparing yourself to others. Because once you realize that your journey is unique, that your pace, your accent, your voice are all part of your growth, you start owning it. You stop chasing perfection and start embracing progress.
And when that shift happens, everything feels lighter. You're not constantly judging yourself anymore. You're just moving forward, celebrating the small wins, learning from the setbacks, and enjoying the process. That kind of mindset makes you stronger far beyond English.
And let's not forget, this isn't something you're doing for a test or a grade. This is about building a skill that empowers your future. Whether it's for travel, career, relationships, or just personal pride, every step you take brings you closer to a more capable, confident version of yourself.
So yeah, learning English is a form of self-improvement. It's one of the most challenging, rewarding, and life-changing things you can do. Not because you'll master every rule, but because you'll discover just how much you're capable of becoming.
And that's something not everyone realizes at the beginning. A lot of people just want to speak better or pass an exam, which is totally fine, but as you go deeper, you start seeing the unexpected gifts, emotional growth, stronger mindset, more curiosity about the world.
Exactly. Even the way you listen changes. You start to pay attention more, not just to English, but to people. You become more aware of tone, meaning, culture. You're no longer just learning a language, you're learning how to connect. And that requires emotional intelligence too.
And when you improve that emotional intelligence, your relationships improve. Your ability to express how you feel, to handle misunderstandings, to empathize, these are all life skills that come from the practice of communicating in another language.
It's like English becomes a training ground for becoming more thoughtful, more flexible, and more open-minded. You start questioning your assumptions. You become more comfortable with uncertainty. And that makes you a better learner, and honestly, a better human.
That's what's so powerful. People think language is just about communication, but it's also about transformation. The version of you that begins the journey is never the same as the one who finishes it. You grow in ways you never expected.
And if you ever feel stuck, like your English isn't improving fast enough, just take a step back and look at how you've changed. Not just your grammar or vocabulary, but your mindset, your courage, your perseverance. That's growth that no one can take away from you.
That's such a great point. Sometimes we get caught up in how many words we know or whether we're using the right preposition, but forget to notice the real success, that we're still here, still learning, still showing up. That's strength. That's character.
And that shift, from focusing only on mistakes to recognizing your resilience, is where real self-improvement happens. You stop seeing yourself as not good enough, and start seeing yourself as someone who keeps going. Someone who adapts. Someone who learns.
Exactly. You're training yourself to deal with discomfort and still move forward. That's not just useful for language, it's useful for life. Because everything worth having requires you to push through something hard. English just happens to be the mirror.
And you know what's beautiful? The more you grow through English, the more you start encouraging others too. You become the one who says, hey, I made mistakes too, but I didn't quit. And you shouldn't either. That's leadership. That's growth shared.
Yeah, and that's when the journey becomes bigger than you. Your progress inspires someone else to start. Your story helps someone else keep going. And suddenly, learning English isn't just about becoming fluent, it's about becoming someone who lifts others up too.
So every hour you put in, every time you decide to try again, every time you speak even when you're nervous, that's self-improvement. Not just in the way you sound, but in the way you live.
Yeah, and honestly, that's what makes learning English so powerful. It's not just what it teaches you about the world, but what it reveals about you. Your persistence, your adaptability, your courage. It's way more than grammar rules or pronunciation drills.
Absolutely. It becomes a reflection of who you are becoming. And if you ever doubt your progress, just pause and look back. You've grown in ways that go way beyond language. You've built confidence, resilience, and a mindset that can carry you through anything.
So whether you're just starting or you've been learning for years, remember that every step forward in English is a step forward in your personal growth too. Keep showing up, keep learning, and keep becoming the best version of you.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the British Accent Podcast. We hope this conversation helped you see your English journey in a whole new light.
And remember, learning English isn't just about speaking better. It's about growing into someone braver, stronger, and more capable than you were yesterday. You've got this.
Until next time, keep learning, keep believing, and keep becoming. Bye for now.